This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
Something I don't think we talk enough about, because maybe it's not super sexy, is strings. Now, D'Addario approached me about doing some videos, and I already use D'Addario stuff anyway, and I've been using their strings for years, and also their picks. I happen to have one on me, the D'Addario Black Ice. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to do some videos because it just made sense. Now, we were on a call, and one of the things that came up, Luke kind of just said, have you ever tried balanced tension strings? Maybe it's an idea for a video. And I was just like, honestly, never heard of them. And that sort of thing kind of interests me, because it's kind of like, well, I've never really even thought about string tension in this way. So I thought this would be kind of an interesting video if you're thinking about the sort of things that you could try with your guitars. If you've never tried them, maybe the next pack could be balanced tension, because I think there is something to this. Now, what is the problem with normal strings? Well, there maybe is no real problem if you've never really thought about it, but there are things that actually, when you know some of this stuff, start to make a bit more sense. So, take your normal pack of 10 to 46 strings. So if we look at just the equivalent pack of D'Addario NYXLs, the sizes go like 10, 13, 17, then I think, is it 26, 36, 46? And so what happens essentially with that is that the E string, the G string, and the other E string, those have relatively similar tension, right? But the A string and the D string and the B string have quite different tension. So if you tune standard, these outer strings would be about like 7.5 kilos, something like that, roughly. Then the A and the D would be significantly more than that, I think about 8.5, and the B string is actually significantly less than that. Now, this is something that actually I've never really thought about at all, because I just wasn't aware that this was a thing. So what I noticed in my own playing, now that I know this, is that I favour the B string for bending, really. And now I know that the reason for that, really, not only is it positioned quite nicely, sort of the E string you have to kind of grip under there, but on most packs of strings, relative to the E string, the B has lower tension. So like I said, about half a kilo roughly between this E string bend and the B string. So what balanced tension actually does is it matches the tension across the strings to these outer strings. So if you have 10 to 46, here I've got 10 on the E, 13.5 on the B, 17 on the G, 25 on the D, 34 on the A, and 46 on the E. So the A and the D are thinner, to get less tension, and the B is thicker to get more tension. So that's kind of the really interesting thing for me. So the A and the D now have less tension than on my other guitars, which actually means that I can kind of bend on the A and the D a bit freer. The downside with this in some ways is that this B string is now actually a little bit harder to bend, but the positive overall is that they're all within the range of about 7.5 kilos or around, you know, somewhere like that. So that across each string, when I'm bending and playing all that stuff, the relative feel of each string is similar. Now, other companies do this as well, but, you know, this is D'Addario that are sponsoring this video, so talking about them particularly. I put these onto this guitar because I was just interested to try it, and like I say, so what happens is this B here is going to be a bit hard relative to a B on another guitar because they beefed up this one. The A, the A, less tension, and the D, less tension, so more, easier bends. The B, slightly harder bends. And overall a bit more of an even feel. I'm really glad I tried it because it is definitely different. Is this something I put on every guitar? Well, actually, they do the balance tension even in the normal, cheaper string set. So I'm interested to try this. I think I'll keep it on this guitar for sure. And it's definitely an interesting thing. Your right hand is a bit more consistent. Bending is more consistent. Would I consider maybe, if I really like the feel of that B string, dropping it down to like 9 to the 9 balance tension set, and then I'd have like it all feeling a bit more like that B string, if that makes sense. I don't know, something worth thinking about. If you're doing drop tunings, that's probably a reason to stay with normal 10 to 46s, because then you're going to have like a relative string, you know, tension that as you drop the tuning, that's probably why these strings here would end up needing to be a bit beefier. But check out the string tension chart. You could do all of this sort of stuff on D'Addario's site, and you can order actually custom sets of strings. Anyway, thanks to D'Addario for sponsoring this video, and let's get some more playing done.